Tonight on Q2, a crackdown on the border leads to concerns on Montana's reservations.
The buzz is about the deportation part of it, just to clarify and just give the public reassurances what all I did.
Treasure State tribes preparing for the possibility of a raid by ICE agents, plus a presidential blitz.
This is completely unprecedented. We've never seen anything even close to this.
With a record number of executive orders already signed, we'll look into the power they truly have. And on call.
Any hours within that, night and day, we are here to help.
A new emergency vet clinic will soon open in Billings. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. Our top story, the deportation of undocumented migrants continues across the country, with more than 3,500 arrested in the last week alone. It's an action that has sent fear into many in tribal communities, even though there have been no reports of ICE agents approaching anyone on Montana's Indian reservations. Tonight, our David J. takes a closer look at why some are still worried, with the Crow tribe even issuing guidance to all tribal members about what to do should an ICE agent approach.
The Speaker of the House of the Crow Legislative Branch sent out a letter advising tribal members to carry IDs in case immigration agents come onto the reservation. We had a chance to talk with some people about what they think about that here in Crow Agency.
You know, there could be some confusion. Just like me, I look like a Mexican and Mexicans talk to me, but I don't know Spanish.
That's a fear echoed by many in America's tribal communities this week. Worries about being approached by ICE agents as immigration enforcement happens in states across the country.
Scary. They keep saying we have to have our tribal IDs. I'm just gonna pray.
From the Fort Peck Reservation to the Crow Reservation and beyond, more than 24 tribes have issued guidance to their tribal members about what to do should ICE agents approach. Those concerns escalated following reports earlier this week of at least 15 indigenous people in New Mexico being asked to produce proof of citizenship to immigration law enforcement agents.
My family is from here. They're safe. We have IDs. We have homeland. This is our homelands.
President Trump has made no indication Native Americans will be targeted, and some say the hysteria has led to unfounded fears.
Social media does get out of hand, and it's all hearsay to me.
ICE only does targeted enforcement operations. We do not do raids. We do not do dragnets. We do not do sweeps. That is not something ICE has ever done.
Even so, the Crow legislature is now recommending carrying a tribal ID and or a state ID at all times. Guidance issued by Senator Dean Don't Mix, who reacted after hearing concerns from the grandson of a Crow elder who was worried about what he read on social media.
It's mainly to reassure the public. And I don't know if there's any illegal aliens here, but it's as long as you have your tribal ID, you're okay.
While the threat of deportation is low, that fact that indigenous people are being approached by ICE agents worries Charlene Sleeper, a leader in Montana's MMIP movement.
We are subjected to racial profiling through law enforcement a lot of times. And so we live this, experience on a daily basis, so we know the potentials.
A time of turmoil as many wait to see what will transpire.
They're just doing their jobs, and as long as you have your backup, which is your tribal ID, you'll be fine.
In Crow Agency, David J., MTN News.
Meanwhile, First Interstate Bank, which holds the naming rights to the main arena at Metro Park, is not on board with the Yellowstone County Commissioner's plan to use the grounds to house illegal immigrants. In a statement, the bank says, First Interstate Bank has a strong commitment to the communities we serve, and we sponsor the First Interstate Arena because we believe the facility provides important social and economic benefits to the greater Billings community. Yellowstone County did not contact us regarding the proposed use of Metro Park, nor do we control how the county uses the arena or the other Metro Park facilities. This is unfortunately becoming a divisive situation for our community, and we're hopeful the commissioners will seek a peaceful resolution for the good of the community. 2019, Billings-based First Interstate spent $875,000 for 5 years of naming rights to the arena. The bank signed a new 5-year deal last year. The Trump administration has yet to respond to the commissioner's proposal, which has also faced backlash from residents and the Billings Chamber of Commerce. On the national level, the president has ordered his administration to begin preparations on a detention facility at the U.S. Naval Base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. That facility would house up to 30,000 migrants detained for being in the United States without legal authorization. The center, which will be expanded, has long been used to hold suspects accused in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. President Trump provided few details, but says it will become home to, quote, the world criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Well, immigration is just one of the topics of focus on President Trump's nearly 50 executive orders so far. In fact, it's an unprecedented start to his second term, as that's a record number of executive orders for a president's first week in office. But what do they really mean, and do they have any true power? Our Haley Monaco spent the day trying to answer that question.
Nearly every day of his presidency, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order.
Well, it's scary, you don't know what the future holds for us. None of us do.
Second-year MSU Billings student Alden Buckelk is just trying to keep up.
Because I care about our culture and our people.
Buckelk is Mexican.
Our certificate of Indian blood degrees.
And a member of the Crow tribe.
We don't know how far or how deep they'll dig into that birthright citizenship stuff. But if that goes away, my grandpa could be leaving, my mom could be leaving. I don't know about me.
From immigration, economy, federal government reform, 26 executive orders were signed in President Trump's first day in office. During his first term, on his first day in 2017, he signed one.
This is completely unprecedented. We've never seen anything even close to this.
MSUB political science professor Paul Pope says presidents cannot alter law with executive orders.
Executive orders are not in the Constitution and are not law. In fact, when a president issues an executive order, the only way it's legally functional is if it's attached to an existing statute, some law that already is out there.
The orders can be overturned by Congress and the courts.
Most of this stuff has to be fought out in the courts. So somebody files a lawsuit that is affected by these executive orders, they're harmed by them.
We saw this with the federal funding freeze that would have put thousands of Montanans out of work when a judge temporarily blocked it. Then the White House rescinded the order.
The president is constitutionally required to spend the money Congress has appropriated and spend it the way they have appropriated it. So any deviation from that is unconstitutional.
For Buckelk's worries on birthright citizenship, Pope says that's also unconstitutional.
Using the executive order to attempt to delete birthright citizenship from the 14th Amendment, that is absolutely outside of the president's power.
A lot of us are good people. Like I said, I'm from Crow. I moved up here and I love it. The last thing I'd hate is to be dropped out, kicked out, sent away.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., President Trump's controversial pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, was on Capitol Hill today for his confirmation hearing. That process, taking place in a packed hearing room, saw Democrats raise concerns about RFK's past comments on vaccine skepticism, while Republicans praised him, saying Kennedy presents an opportunity to improve the nation's health system.
Mr. Kennedy has embraced conspiracy theories, quacks, charlatans, especially when it comes to the safety and efficacy of vaccines.
Your commitment to combating chronic conditions that drive healthcare costs will be critical to our success.
Kennedy's hearing comes a day after his cousin Caroline Kennedy called him a predator and urged senators to reject his nomination. His confirmation process continues tomorrow before the Senate Health Committee. A Billings man involved in a 2023 shooting that left a Lockwood man paralyzed has now changed his plea. 20-year-old Ashton Glenn pled guilty this afternoon to 3 felony charges, but no contest to 2 counts of attempted murder. Prosecutors are recommending an 80-year sentence. Glenn and another man, Devin James Isaacson, were arrested in November of 2023 after authorities say they were car hopping on Canary Avenue in Lockwood when confronted by another man. That man, Brasser McCabe, was then shot 3 times by Glenn and Isaacson before Glenn led law enforcement on a high-speed chase through Lockwood and Billings. In the ensuing chase, Glenn fired multiple shots at a Yellowstone County Sheriff's deputy before it ended near Terry Avenue and 7th Street. Glenn was ultimately arrested a few blocks away, with Isaacson found near the shooting scene in Lockwood. Glenn's sentencing is set for a later date.
Well, it finally happened today as you take a look with the Stockman Bank weather cam and the almanac for the day. We hit 50 degrees first time this year, the first time in the month of January. In fact, we have not had a January where we haven't reached 50 degrees at least once back to 1993. So we squeaked it in on the 29th day of the month. Winds today gusting up over 30 miles an hour once again in the Billings area. Had chilly temperatures once again. Butte-Bozeman dropping below zero, along with Missoula at 2 below first thing in the morning. But the temperatures did begin to warm up, hitting some 40s and 50s in the eastern plains. The forecast coming up.
And breaking news that we're following tonight, this is video of a huge search and rescue operation going on near Reagan Airport in Washington, D.C. The FAA says preliminary information indicates a regional jet collided with a military Black Hawk helicopter. Video from EarthCam appears to show the mid-air collision and a fiery crash, with the plane then plunging into the Potomac. The plane had departed from Wichita, Kansas, with 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board. No word yet on casualties. The NTSB is investigating. We'll have the latest online and on Montana this morning.